He was a poster child for what was wrong with Michigan's sex offender registry. A teen who landed on that list after what he called a one-afternoon stand with an underage girl.
Then a Target 8 investigation helped prompt changes to the sex registry, and it looked like Rick McQuillin's name might be removed. But
1 year later, Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker is discovering that McQuillin's life has changed for the worse.
Not only is Rick McQuillin still on Michigan's public sex offender registry, but he now is listed as a Tier 3 offender, the worst of the worst.
He looks like a dangerous predator because he's on the list and he's in this very high tier. That would give you the impression that this man is dangerous to the general public.
I was baffled. I was astonished that it changed to a Tier 3. I was like, this can't be right. I haven't done anything since then. I haven't gotten into any trouble. It just makes no sense to me.
And instead of being on the list for another 10 years under the old law, he's now on it for life.
I'll always get those glances like, oh my God, he's a Tier 3. Stay away from him.
McQuillin, now 30, says it was a one-afternoon stand with a girl he had just met and who got pregnant.
I was 17, she was 15.
Records show she claimed he quote-unquote somewhat forced her to have sex at her parents' home and that he claimed it was consensual. But nobody had to prove force. She was too young to legally consent, and it got him 2 years probation. Before the law changed, the victim's stepfather told us McQuillin did not belong on the list. Even the judge back then called it unfair.
Almost to the point of being cruel and unusual. Yes, that cruel and unusual punishment.
So what went wrong? While the law says that new Romeo-Juliet cases will no longer make the list, it requires existing Romeos to petition a judge to get their names removed. Raquel Olivo of Legal Aid of Western Michigan has helped 3 or 4 men off the list locally, but could not help McQuillin.
It isn't an automatic right.
They have to show they were less than 4 years older than the victim and that the victim was between 13 and 16. No problem with this case. Then they need to prove the sex was consensual, and often that means reaching out to the victim.
That is the problem that he's facing, is finding that evidence that shows that there was a consensual relationship, that there was no force or coercion at the time. You have a lot of individuals that said, yes, I was forced, when in reality, it was a boyfriend or girlfriend relationship.
Since the new law passed, the sex offender registry has shrunk by about 8,000 names. But it's likely only a small number were Romeo-Juliet cases. The state does not keep track that way. Last August, the judge denied McQuillin's request.
When I got out of the courtroom, I actually started crying because I had my hopes up too high.
He says he's tried to reach his victim, who is now in her late 20s.
I sent her a message on Facebook. I found her on Facebook and didn't get any response back.
When Target 8 reached her on Facebook for last year's story, she told us she did not want to get involved, in language we can't use on TV. She did not respond to our recent Facebook post.
She's moved on. She don't care. Sucks for me, but what can you do?
As for McQuillin, he was recently forced to move from a friend's house because it's too close to a school. He's now living with his parents. He says the list has kept him out of the military, cost him jobs, and kept him out of his kids' schools.
No matter where I go, no matter what I do, I have to register it.
to see all of our Target 8 investigations, putting the new sex offender registry to the test, and seeing if the state is doing what it promised, go online right now to woodtv.com.